suffocates, whisper in the hall, where justice wears a mask and truth begins to fall. Every thread they pull, every lie they weave, in the courtroom's dance, who's left to believe? Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight. A photograph fades where the truth once stood. Blurred lines between the bad and the good. The scales they tilt with every silver tongue, while the broken cry for a song unsung. Black robes sway like shadows on the wall. One wrong word and the mighty fall. Who's a sinner? Who's a saint? The jury's out, but the verdict's faint. Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to know why I'm here today? It's not because I want to give you a pep talk or because I want to make you feel good about yourselves. No, I'm here to tell you the truth.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Devil's Advocates Crimes After Dark show on a Saturday evening. Hope you're doing well. I hope I've got sound and audio. Wave at me, somebody backstage. Let me know you can hear me. So, okay, great. So, just got my panel assembling backstage. It looks like we got a full house. It's funny, like, we're getting used to the routine where we don't even have to talk to each other during the day, and all of a sudden everybody shows up backstage. So that's very cool. And if you don't show up, by the way, panelists, that's okay. I understand life gets in the way. Some of you told me sometimes that you can't make it and then show up anyway. So I know you guys are doing your absolute best. You never have to explain if something personal comes up. I had, in fact, on the note of personal business, I had a lot of personal things going on today. And so I just didn't have time to do anything today, except for receive a few emails. By the way, some emails that I'm getting from people, and don't freak out, it's not a big deal, but some emails I'm getting from people are warning me that I may have kicked a hornet's nest. Keep my head low, watch out for yourself. Hey, you're starting to make waves. So nobody's warning me like you're going to get smoked kind of thing, but there are people who are concerned in a good way that that people are paying attention to some of the things that are happening on the channel. So I appreciate your concern, everybody. I really do. I've talked it over with the she-devil, and she knows the risks that are involved when you do things like this. And so it is what it is. By the way, plenty of people do things like this and live a normal, healthy, fulfilling life. I know I'm kind of talking a little bit between the lines, but everything's fine. We're good. Appreciate you guys' concern for those of you who are concerned. I'm going to bring up my panelists really quick. We'll introduce everybody for the night. We'll talk about, I really want to encourage audience participation. Real quick, before I do my break panelists up, I do want to say some hellos to the audience. Amanda B in the house first here, by the way. She had these great graphics and stuff behind me, which I always love to show off, and the website design and all the kind of stuff that she does behind. There's so many things that she does, can't even cover it up. Essie's in the house. Thank you so much. Everything Me, good to see you again. Haven't seen you for quite a while. A longtime supporter of the show, one of our probably the biggest financial supporter of the show as well, and he does great things for us, and really appreciate having you here again today. Betty Allen 5150, thank you for showing up. I don't remember seeing that name. Seems like a relatively new name. Thumper Rabbit Hole. I almost can't say that. Thumper Rabbit Hole. That just sounds dirty. Maybe that's the way you intended it. But that's the way I go, because I'm a 15-year-old boy at heart. So I hear that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, that sounds bad. That sounds bad. But welcome to the show. I haven't even recognized the name. So new user, Jules Down Under. Thank you so much for joining. I think I recognized Jules Down Under's name from before. Just want to get through some hellos. Extraterrestrial Highway as well. Thank you. Welcome. I could be pinning these things to the screen, but I don't really read the comments at this point. I did read the comments, by the way, while the show is going. But sometimes when I'm in a quick mode, I'm not as good as other creators where I just pin stuff to the screen. You never know what you're going to get. So I'm just kind of shouting out some names for the moment. But as we get going, Dina Seitz as well, we will pin some people's stuff on screen. Foxy Rose, welcome as well. And a regular Grammy T13, welcome again. Good to see you as always. It's been a regular to the show. Glenn 4302, that seems like a relatively newer one. Karen Bell 4965, welcome. You said, well, hello, DA from UK. I love it when people tell us where they're coming from. So another UK, we got a very big international audience. Lady G 5919, good evening. Let's see, who else do we have? Reagan McNeil, and then we've got DL in SC, South Carolina. Is that from South Carolina? DL in SC. Oh wow, we've got. I had one of my panelists lose connection and come back. That's not a good start for the night, right? James Moen. Thank you for coming, as well as kind of a newer name. Like I said, let's just get through a few more. Jody Mann, Karen Folquez, James Moen, we got that. The Dolliest Lost, Nanya Gallegos, Twizzle Stick in the house. Welcome, Twiz. We've got so many cool names in here. Pamela Smith. It's just a ton of names. So as I don't want to, at some point the clock goes on. Okay, long enough for names. I would love to be able to shout you all out. I will try to get much better. I really want to engage the chat, but as you know, I'm a wordy bastard and I almost never stop talking, and I talk at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I pack in a lot of information in a short amount of time. It's what I do. All right, let's get us panelists on in the order that they joined us. Robin, you should have a microphone. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Very
it's
cool
always
to see
great
you.
to be here in the den. Hope everyone out there has had a fantastic day, and looking forward to tonight as always.
I feel kind of bad for you guys. Like most people on my show have real jobs, and this is my job, right? So it's amazing to me that you show up night after night when you have other things going on in your life. This is pretty much the only thing I've got going on in my life. In fact, I can't even really hang out with friends very much, where my wife's like, are you still doing work on your phone? Put your phone down. Because I'm constantly working nonstop. And it's funny because I feel like I'm always behind. When you're covering 5 cases, you feel like you're always behind. And and 30 people have a new thing out, and they're like, did you see so-and-so? Did you see so-and-so? Did you see so-and-so? And I'm like, I can't do it all in one day. I'm doing everything I can just to tell you what I'm keeping up on the case. So anyways, good to see you, Robin, co-producer of the show, helps me out with a million things administratively and professionally, and sometimes emotionally, and all those good things. So it's good to have you on the show. Let's get one on stage and unmute his mic. How you doing, one?
Hello, Den. Hi, Robin. Hi, Lee. How is everything?
Good. How was your day today?
Hello.
Good. It is the weekend. As you said, some of us are always working. Some of us never sleep. Right. Right.
It's true, man. I don't even know how you do it with a family and a full-time job, and you got personal things going on. I know, and then you got our business, and it's just like I do not know where you find the time. I really don't.
So since it's Saturday, I got to give my special monologue. It has to.
I can't wait.
It has to come. All right. You guys
Yeah.
ready? You ready?
Yeah. You want full screen?
I don't know. I can't. I don't know how many. I'm still on my phone. I'm still in the process of setting my laptop up. So since I have my admin privileges removed, I have no idea how many people are in it. I can't see really anything. I can't see the comments. I can't see anything. But it's all right. It's all good. It's all good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome to the most stupendous, most riveting, most captivating true crime show out there, where narratives get challenged, timelines get ripped apart, and facts don't care about feelings. This is a show that refuses the script, questions the official story, and shines a spotlight where others are afraid to look. We don't follow the crowd, we cross-examine it. If you're here for blind relief, comfort theories, and talking point justice, you might want to hit pause now. If you're here for critical thinking, receipts, and hard truths, then welcome home, because this is the Devil's Advocates. And if you're not down with that, we've got 2 words for you. And with that, live from New York, it's Saturday night.
What were those 2 words that we have for them? 1-1.
I don't want to get you flagged.
Tell me it doesn't start with an F and an O. Thank you. I appreciate
well
that very
done.
much. We actually are very very kind to our dissenters and the people who disagree with us. As long as you're courteous with your disagreement, then we'll be courteous back to you. So we rarely would tell somebody to pack sand. We would rather you just hang out and be polite. So thank you so much for that. That's very cool. I appreciate your monologue. Joe's got the next step up. He's going to have to meet that kind of energy. I'm going to remove the parental advisory. You guys should always know parental advisory. Parental discretion is advised. That's the term. Parental discretion is advised on our show. I'll remove it because as I bring more panelists up, it's hard to do that. By the way, I thought. Robin, you can see the comments and stuff, right? Or no? Because one was saying he can't see comments. He should be able to. He's got the same permissions that you do. But we'll work that technical stuff out in a minute. Let me bring up Joe from State of the Deep. How you doing tonight, Joe?
This is for 1-1.
Very good.
Hey, everybody. What's up, DA? Robin, 1-1. Dan, how's
Hello,
everybody
hello.
doing?
Hello.
It's good to see you. You got anything special going on today? Or you just kind of having a chill, lazy day? Or what do you got going on?
Just getting stuff done at home most of the day.
Yeah.
No big excitement.
Well, it's good to have the team back together. We got Jason Estes as the last person to join us on screen. If you have anything you want to share before he comes on, or you want to preemptively say something before he has a chance to attack you, let me know. But otherwise, I'll go ahead and bring Estes out to Estes on screen. There's no beef going on between the two of you. But all right. Hey, thanks for the super sticker. Very cool. XOXO Leah, $20. So thank you so much. Appreciate that very much. Every bit helps for sure. And that's a really good support to the channel. So I appreciate that. Let's add Estes Crime Maze. Jason Estes from Estes Crime Maze. How you doing tonight?
Pretty outstanding. Thank you. I'm working on spectacular. I certainly hope I don't have a beep with Mr. Psyop Man. My other Psyop Man.
Nice. That's very
nice.
Joe, I don't want to beef with the State of the Deep, man. I'll never get out. And 1-1's intro, I could never match or meet that. I don't think that expectation. But let me just say, it's great to meet all you beautiful people, and to the amazing audience and other true crime junkie fans out there. Again, put on your house coat or your favorite robe, maybe a pair of slippers even. And Robin had her drink last night. I don't know if she's got one tonight, but grab your favorite beverage. 1-1's got one. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. And join us for a while for another story. And again, as 1-1 said, and one of the many great lines there, we're going to rip apart, I think he said, the storylines. I hope I'm quoting that right.
Timelines get ripped apart. Yeah.
timelines get ripped apart. So let's do it, my friends. This is the most entertaining, thought-provocative, true crime channel out there. If you haven't got that by now, give your head a shake and keep watching us. So thank you. Take it away, everyone.
Awesome. One thing, right, by the way, real quick, I wanted to give a shout out again to Everything Me, who I just saw that it did pop up on that last comment that Robin pinned, that he's been a member for 5 months. So a paid member for 5 months. That's another thing that's fantastic. Before we started, I saw somebody come in here. They've been hit their 2-month anniversary. So those paid memberships also help as well. By the way, Jason Estes, just as an FYI, in case you don't know, you are cut across with the camera right across your eyeballs. We're like, we do not get to see your eyeballs. And that's okay if you want to go all, there you go. Now we can see your lovely eyeballs.
And by the way, you know what? I can't believe I'm not even 100% sure of this, but did you send me this picture or was it Joe? And if so, are these the graphics from Amanda B? Because if so, I'm honored and privileged that she did this of me and put it on the shirt, but I'm not sure of the whole thing.
It might have been, if you can zoom in a bit, I don't know. I can kind of.
I'll put them full screen here.
Yeah, I don't know. It was either Amanda or it was Cat's Mojo. It was one of them.
I think
it might have been Cat's Mojo.
But if it was Amanda, I will profusely apologize to her.
Cat's Mojo. Yeah.
Wasn't
Cat's
Amanda,
Mojo.
she
Thank
said.
you.
Amanda said it wasn't.
Yeah,
me,
Cat,
so,
I believe it was Cat's Mojo.
Thanks, Cat's Mojo. Appreciate it. Although when I went to the seamstress to tighten it a little bit around my arms, even though I haven't been able to lift weights in over 4 months, Pavarotti, I'm sure, knows this. But the seamstress, she said she's looking at the shirt as she's putting, tightening around my arm. She said, it doesn't look like you. I said, I beg your pardon? I think it does. Come on.
Yeah.
By the way, I just wanted to say, I want to be careful how I say this. When you were talking about Pavarotti, we've got Pavarotti, knows that you're not working out. We've got a kind of a running gag because of that. There was a time when, Estes, you kind of called out Pavarotti, and then Pavarotti got all irritated and said, I'm going to box this guy's ears off, but he gets to a certain level of subscribers and then I'll box him, kind of thing. And I kind of took it as a half joke. I don't think he was serious. But we kind of joke around about it. But I do want to
play the video, DA.
I wish I had it handy. I don't have it.
Play the video.
That's so awesome. Maybe if you guys get talking long enough, I'll go find a video to play it. Because
which video? What video are you guys referring to?
The toddler fights. The toddler fights.
Oh,
yeah, right.
The toddler fights.
Someone's got to have it. Come on.
But you should play the video because I know you're about to sound very serious. So, okay, I'll take a deep breath. Everybody take a deep breath. Here we go. What were you going to say,
It's Saturday night, man.
Everything me's dropping bombs on us tonight. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate that so much. I know, by the way, everything, I hope I don't give anything away with Everything Me, but Everything Me, by the way, wanted to kind of give me a heads up that they're paying attention to whether or not we're going to end up in a legal fight, because they're going to try to help out with that as well. They already help out a ton. James already helps out a ton. I know we've had him on the show before and give him a chance to take the microphone, but so he helps out a ton already, but he's kind of saying, hey, I'm waiting to see what happens with this legal stuff that you guys got started. But to go back to what I was saying, while we have this kind of tongue-in-cheek joke about Pavarotti and Estes and whatever, I want to try to do this in a way that doesn't point any fingers at anybody. One of the things that I'm seeing lately online is there's more and more creators going at each other, and it's starting to get a little bit unfriendly. Like I believe in trying to respect every other creator as well, and I try to do that all the time. If I disagree with some point that somebody makes, it's not personal. Like I just will say I disagree with what that creator is saying. This is what I think is happening, and it's nothing personal. But lately, it feels like the community is starting to get a little personal. Lines are starting to get divided. People are starting to go from just disagreeing to actually calling each other names. So I just want to say that, for my panelists, I guess what I want to say is let's not engage in that. We that's not what we're about. I think I know that people are I won't name names. I've seen a creator make a whole video about me talking about what a piece of shit I am and how idiot I am and try to make fun of me. I didn't respond back to that. I just don't want to go there. Let's not go there. I realize that we're a target, and but let's not draw those lines. And keep in mind that, again, this stuff with Pavarotti and Jason Estes, it's kind of like a joke kind of thing. It's not a serious beef. We don't have in my opinion, we don't have a serious beef with anybody. And again, we respect all kinds of difference of opinions. So
it's a shame because the energy should be uniting everyone together.
Yeah. Yeah,
to
for
get
sure.
to the
And-
truth. That's
Yeah.
how.
Well,
that's what it should be.
That video will solve everything, you know. That'll lighten the mood. If you post the video, the den will love it. It'll calm everybody down. It'll start.
I'll tell you
off
what,
the Saturday night.
Estes, you have to have that toddler fight thing bookmarked somewhere, don't you? Send it to me real quick, and I'll get it up on the show. But
Sure.
if you can find it real quick, and it doesn't have to. You don't have to get it right this second, but if you can get it for me and send it to me, I don't know how best to do it. You can paste it in the link maybe or something. Somehow you got to get it to me or Robin, and we'll get it up on stage.
Oh
'Cause it
no,
is-
I
it is-
don't even know how to copy and paste anymore because I don't have my mouse with me. That would be a
Oh
problem.
my gosh, it was
I
so
might,
it's
I
so
might be
classic.
able to pull it up if you can bear with me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, take your time. So in the meantime, by the way, I did want to say that we want to encourage people to come up and join us. Jules threw the oh, here we go. Here's Jules threw the gloves off on Birdie of all people. I'm not sure she lost a lot of followers yesterday. So yeah, like I said, I don't want to point names at who's doing what, but I do want to say that I do see it. I do see that people are getting more serious with each other, and I want to say from our team that we're going to try to keep that really, really on the down low. Mudslinging doesn't benefit really anybody, and so let's just all get along and do a Kumbaya song, even if we don't agree. We'll hold hands and we'll sing Kumbaya by the fire. That's probably not going to happen. And in fact, let's invite Moscow Police Department and Idaho along for that Kumbaya. We'll all just hold hands and just kind of go do a group hug, and then we'll ask to see their records. But other than that,
Send Payne a link. Let's get Payne up here.
So yeah, it's Christmas time, for Pete's sake. It's Christmas time. Let's all get in the Christmas spirit. I don't know. Not everybody celebrates Christmas, so I got to be careful about that as well. All right. So again, did we send a link? Do we put a link, by the way, for people to join backstage? I would love to be able to get some people backstage. We don't have a formal presentation tonight, so I'm gonna copy this link. If Robin hasn't done it, I'm gonna put it in the chat. I'm gonna invite you to come up. If you don't want to be on camera, you can still use your microphone. If you just want to, I'll watch the chat. I'm gonna watch the chat a lot more carefully. So if you guys have a question, please type a question in there and we will go for talking about some of the questions. Any case that we follow, whether it's Idaho 4, whether it's Luigi Mangioni's case, and he's still in suppression hearings right now. We've got the Long Island serial killer case. We've got Nikki Stein's. It's been on the back burner for like ages because again, you thought Idaho 4 was over. Au contraire, we're kind of like reopening that kind of investigation in some parts. So
I
let's see.
have the link to that video. Amanda did post it in chat. How do I get it to you, Lee?
Okay. I see. That's a good question. So that's such a great question. How do you get it to me? Email it to me real quick to the 2024 address.
Yep.
If I had a mouse, is there a way to copy and paste when you don't have a mouse? I'm the dumbest person when it comes to computers.
You just right click on your. You have like a trackpad.
Trackpad on your thing, or is it on just on your phone?
It's just a little square thing on my laptop.
Yeah, I mean, if you usually, I don't know what kind of laptop you have, but you can do a thing with your fingers where you right click on
right click. Okay, I'll try that again.
Like basically, you just
I sent that to you.
You can do it.
All right.
I sent that to you, Lee.
I see that. Is there a certain time marker for that, by the way, or is it just like
no? That's just the video itself, I believe. Like that's the only one.
Hey, maybe we can get a little GoFundMe for Esty. I'll sell him my old laptop really cheap. It's an old.
Right on.
It's an older MacBook Pro, but it's a 15-inch.
Oh, I did it.
You got it?
I'm listening to you, Joe, and at the same time, I'm sending this to DA, but Robin's already beat me to it, I think. So well, both of us did it.
All right. So I think we're going to be able to pull this off where we're going to get this. I think, and I didn't preview this, but I think we're going to get to see a younger Jason Estes calling out our younger Pavarotti. But this beef has been going on for a very, very long time. So it started here, and I'm going to try to put that on screen here.
The audience is probably thinking, what is going on with you guys? You're not organized. Is this going to be
Right?
worth it? Well,
What they know, what
what
they might know is this is a typical night for Devil's Advocates. We're never really entirely organized. It's kind of we fly off the cuff here. All right, let's add this to stage. Let's put it on here. Let's remove this. Let's add this. All right. Let's hope that has sound. I think we're going to have sound.
First of all, why did I expose Jay Embry? And then I'll explain why I gave an apology to him.
What the hell's going on?
My friends, this is so important, and these will be my opinions. But I think if you really look closely, we got to ask the questions. I want to ask you, everyone, who is Jay Embry? You know, again, he's had all this success. He's done hundreds and hundreds of videos.
You're pretty mouthy for a toddler.
If he's successful with his channel, that I'm not going to condemn him for that. But we got to ask, who is Jay Embry? He comes from the ether. Nobody knew who this guy was, right? And he's claimed. I'm not sure where he was during COVID. I was a public.
There's Pav.
Once you flip the switch, it flips their switch, and they no longer like you. Believe me. Oh yeah, while I'm going through this, I got this. Well, it flips their switch, and they no longer like you.
What's wrong with you? The people that are out here sharing
This is a different clip. Yeah.
Oh boy.
From a secret source that knows everything that this is valid. What is wrong with y'all?
What sucks is this clip didn't have Pavarotti talking about Jason Estes and how he's going to box it. Was this in this or not?
I don't know if this is what it meant to say.
Oh, Amanda. She's mixed it up nice.
No, wait, there he is at the end.
Once you flip the Pav switch,
hold on.
It flips their switch, and they no longer like you.
Well, they did. Damn it. That clip wasn't. It didn't have Pavarotti calling him out because he talked all about how he was going to box Jason.
Well, check my link. Check my link if you want.
Where did you send the link?
It's from my YouTube channel over there. I sent it to your email.
You sent it to my email? All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take too long struggling with our technical difficulties, but I will try to see if I can find that real quick. Here.
The audience is just wondering. I think they want more of this. They're getting a taste of what's going on.
I think we got it. Hold on.
Thank you, audience.
Surprise.
All right, let's see if this is the one. Now this is a long one.
It's long. Okay, here we go.
I want to try to get here. I know what it looks like. So this one looks like the right one. Oops. But nope. Look, there it is. Maybe some Pavarotti right here. Hopefully this is where he gets to talk about boxing your ears off. All right. And I'm all of a sudden I'm having
so much
buffering issues.
No longer like you. Believe me. Oh yeah, while I'm going through this, I got this freaking crazy guy out there, this Esty guy. He said he wants to box me. Now, I'll have 2 seconds to debate that guy over that nonsense he's spewing, and I don't believe he believes it, so I wouldn't waste my time and effort.
I do believe it.
Would like to box his ears, though, so I'll make a deal with you, Esty. You can manage to get to, let's say, 2,500 subscribers. I mean, that shouldn't be too difficult to do for you.
Yeah.
2,500 subscribers, and I'll be happy to box you on YouTube live.
Fucking right.
Box the ears right off the side of that bald head. And if you are able to beat me 5 3-minute rounds.
Fucking right. I will.
Beat me, then I'll debate you. So
you debate me after that. I got to win.
I'm going to respond again. You get 2,500 subscribers. I'll box those ears. You beat me. I'll debate you. There's my terms.
Thanks, Pav.
About what we were talking about. Pav block. It's a Pav switch.
So there you go. That was the challenge put forth.
Oh man.
You get him to 2,500 subscribers, and Pavarotti will personally box his bald head, his ears off his bald head.
I don't remember him saying Pav switch. I haven't watched the video in a long time.
You flipped the Pav switch. Now look, I want people to understand. I'm not poking fun at Pavarotti. I'm not poking fun at Jason Estes. I thought this video was hilarious. It's in good fun. That's the way I take it. We are not trying to cause a fight. Although it is funny because we always tease. Let's get Jason Estes to the 2,500 subscribers and let's go. We got a pay-per-view event. But again, it's for fun. It's not meant to be taken all that seriously. I hope you enjoyed that little side tangent. And yeah, the Estes has been had an injury to his rib cage, and so he can't really train like he's been. So if Pav's training, Estes is in big trouble. So, and did he just fall down? I thought that is like, what the hell did he just fall out of a chair?
I almost fell down with the Pav switch, the Pav block. It's really discombobulated me. So I'm going to have to be very, very focused when I meet this guy.
I've heard of things like Pav block, but I heard it a little differently. But I've never heard somebody being a Pav block before. But anyway, so how are things going tonight? What have you guys got going on? Do we have any questions or comments from the peanut gallery? I always call it the peanut gallery. That's not a good way to say it. We got to come up with the better. I always call it the peanut gallery. I don't know why. But what do we got going on in the chat? Anything? Does anybody want to take that offer to come up on stage and join us? And or do we want to just field some questions? Or you guys have something that you saw on YouTube that you want to talk about with me about something you saw that maybe I haven't seen yet, so it's hard for me to comment. But what do you guys got on your mind? Anything?
Well, I just I could just pop about it doesn't really change, I guess, much, whether Kohberger did it or not, but it is interesting about Murphy, some of the stuff, coming to light. And it's very interesting because you were the one that did, the boots on the ground, and you were making not making a big deal, but you brought it up. Like, how do we really know that it's actually Murphy on, that we hear at 417? And now there's new analysis and new stuff coming out, which is not 100% proof, but it's very, very close to really making you believe that Murphy was not, that the dog that we hear at 417 is not Murphy.
So let's talk about that for a minute, because I want to explain it. I want to use this as an example of a few things. And so you need to correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong about this. One of the reasons why I know that a couple people said, oh, you got to watch this video. Lana just proved the dog wasn't Murphy. And I know that my response, and maybe to my detriment, was kind of like, I don't know that this is a conversation piece, a big conversation piece, because no one officially said it was Murphy. It was YouTubers who jumped all over look, it's Murphy. You can hear Murphy barking in the background. Proof positive that this happened because Murphy's barking. And I've always said from day one, there's no proof that's Murphy at all. You hear a dog barking, and then the community runs off the rails and says you hear Murphy barking. And I've been trying to say forever, you don't know who that is. So where I'm going with that is it any breaking news? Has anybody officially said that was Murphy? Did the officials state that Murphy can be heard in the background? I don't think the officials ever said that. That was YouTube community that jumped on it, right?
And the big thing that was always kind of like everyone was always talking about it, but the thing that was always alarming to me, I have a German Shepherd, obviously a different type of dog, but I've had dogs my whole life. And I even watched, I don't remember who it was. I watched someone, it was some crime scene expert guy that he had, I think, 2 of the exact same kind of dog that Kaylee and Jack D had.
Yeah, golden.
And he said that the dog, that dog does bark and whatever. So what always was odd to me, why is the dog barking, just at 417?
Yeah,
because that like the dog. So I know you're gonna say, like, I mean, okay, even if you're like, oh no, it's definitely Kohberger. So what are you telling me that he's like a ninja, like tiptoeing around the house? There's no noise, there's zero noise. He never wakes the dog up. I mean, do you know the dogs have like a ridiculous sense of smell too? Yeah. So the dog would know that there's a stranger in the house. And if it's a stranger, if it's a stranger, that's I don't want to beat it to death, but it's a classic example. It's a classic example, in my opinion, of people who cling to confirmation bias. Right.
Because they believe Kohberger did it, and because they believe Murphy was there, and because they believe it happened between this time, if they hear a dog bark, this is proof that that happened. It's confirmation bias.
Right.
And so
Right.
this is the problem I've had from the very beginning. You know, the loud thud. Here's what's funny. I don't want to go too long on this, but I've had so many people tell me the loud thud, the whimper, and the dog barking is proof that the murders happened exactly like they said. Then when I play Jules's video that she got from MPD with all the screams, well, you can't prove where that's coming from, and you can't prove what those screams are about. And I'm like, funny, because people seem to prove that the dog barking in the neighborhood is proof it was Murphy, or a thud against the wall means it was Kohberger knocking people around. That was proof to a lot of people. But now I mentioned that there's screams going on, and you're like, well, that's proof of nothing, sir. Because it's like, and again, I don't know that the same people who are saying the dog bark and the thud and the whimper is proof that Kohberger did it are the same people saying, well, that doesn't prove anything, DA, that there's screams all over the neighborhood for 40 minutes. That doesn't prove. I don't know if it's the same people, but you know what I'm saying? The logic that says, because I believe this happened, any little thing that happens, I'm going to prove. There it is. That's proof. You know, here you go. You saw a white car approach the neighborhood in that time frame. They told us it happened. That must be Kohberger. That's the logic. And again, anything that happens that's not like that, well, you don't know. You can't prove that. You can't tell what kind of car that. If it's outside the time frame, we can't prove dick. But if it's during the time frame, oh yeah, that's proof right there. See, do you know what I'm saying? It's just hypocritical.
Right. Yeah.
Only
when it's to fit their narrative, then it's okay.
One of the compelling videos that I saw from Linda Lane, we've probably discussed it before here, was the female carrying what looked like a dog from the car.
Yeah.
And I have no confirmation of this, but it looked like Dylan to me. It was a taller girl. I think they had like a hoodie on.
It was like 6 a.m., right? It was around 6 a.m. something.
Like they were picking up the dog, and bringing the dog back. And and they went and they started walking towards the King Road area there. So, I mean, it's things like that make you wonder, was that Dylan grabbing the dog where the dog was put somewhere else for a certain time frame for obvious reasons, right? Because if someone is aware that something's going to happen and they know that there's a dog there and the dog is going to likely be barking and acting out and things, you would get that dog out of there if you knew in advance what could potentially happen. So I don't know. I just always thought that was interesting.
Right. And the key difference is, Joe, when we see what looks like somebody that matches the description or could match the description of Dylan carrying a dog that looks like it could be Murphy, we don't say, there's the proof. Dylan's bringing Murphy back to the house. You can see it right there. That's the difference. Like we just say, man, does that look a little bit like it could be? And we ask the question. Other people are like, that's proof definitive. Brian Kohberger did this. Look, you can hear the whimper and you hear Murphy bark. Like, why is it people can't do what we're doing, which is to say, look, it looks like this, but maybe it's not. And like you guys said, and like Cat's Mojo said, I think it was Cat's Mojo, when Rhonda and I were walking the neighborhood, there literally was, I filmed a big dog right behind the 1122 former residence, because it's been torn down, that angles towards the back of the house. I believe it was probably the people that had made noise complaints against the house before.
It is.
They have dogs. Those dogs barked when we were there, and I pointed them out on camera, but you couldn't see it very well. But if you zoomed in, you could see a dog in that yard, and it has a deep register. Then later, Rhonda and I are walking between the Queen apartments, and a big dog barks, and people on the live said, holy shit, that's the dog you hear that night. Like, and I'm not even saying it is or it isn't. What I'm saying is other people are hearing and seeing those dogs and going, wait a minute, isn't that the fucking dog we heard that night? So I'm not even jumping on whether it is or it isn't. But the point being is why are we so quick to say, oh, it's Murphy barking? Any dog in that neighborhood apparently is Murphy barking, and it's proof that, it's not proof of dick. It's not proof of anything.
That house that touches the corner is 1260 Walenta. So they supposedly had 2 dogs. So if you listen to the 4:30 to 5 a.m. audio, like where you hear 2 dogs going off, it's probably the 2 dogs from over there. Then you also have whatever his last name is, Jeremy, the guy who nothing is out of ordinary except for finding panties in the street. He also has a dog.
No, nothing really happened, but it was kind of weird. There were some panties right outside the quadruple homicide where 3 women got murdered, and other than that pair of panties outside, there was really nothing odd that was going on. Okay, well, have a nice day. See you later.
Yeah. Did you guys see Birdie's video yesterday?
Yeah, I saw it.
One of the things I noticed, because I played music for many years, and I play guitar, and I have guitar pedals, effects pedals, and some people were commenting, and I did as well. It's almost sounds like it's reversed, like the audio is reversed.
Yeah.
But it also sounds like it could be effects that were put on the audio. So you could just take the audio and run it through an effect, just like recording engineers do when they're recording albums. You put the effects on after tracks are finished. You don't have to do it while it's happening. And it sounded like there could be either a phaser or a ring modulator put on the audio, which gives can give like a warbled, like a certain filtering effects, like synthesizers have like filtering effects and things. And a phaser can do that. Wow, can give like a phasing effect. And I thought it either sounds like it was reversed, the audio, or there was effects added to it. And I wouldn't put that past, if the feds were involved, they have all that technology. They have sound, analysts and all that kind of stuff. So,
dude, you have no idea. I study UFOs, man. They're 50, 70 years ahead of us. But that's a whole other subject that I'll educate you guys on one day.
But anyway, that was something that kind of stuck out to me, to my ear. I've heard many, many different effects and things like that. And you can kind of identify some effects. And it sounded like that to me. So it sounds like, to me, in my opinion, that audio was, and probably the video too, was absolutely tampered with. I have no question in my mind. There's no logical reason why.
Yeah. You know what else?
Clarify, Joe. Yeah. Clarify, Joe, what audio you're talking about. The one that was released by Moscow Police Department?
Well,
1112, various
between 2:30 and 3:30.
2:30 to 2:30 to 3:30.
Frames, but the key ones are the 2:30 to whatever it was, 3:30, whatever it is. Sounds to me like the audio was tampered with, because it definitely doesn't. It's just too strange. Like,
what was key about that? You're definitely right. You know what was key about that? I don't remember the exact time stamp, but in the video where there's two girls that leave, I think around 3:30 or so.
Yep.
They leave from 1112.
Yeah.
And they're literally walking in front. So what are they? 5 feet from the camera?
Right.
Yeah. And you can't make out the audio. You can't make out what they're saying. So that's ridiculous.
It's just, if you, next time you guys or anybody in the den listens to that or watches that video, listen to the audio, that warbling kind of sound. That's manipulation. That's sound manipulation. There's no logical reason why some of these sounds and voices are garbled like that. And it's like, that's, for example, like back in the day where you had tapes, like cassette tapes, and recorded on tape, the tape could get warped, and you'd get like a warbling kind of sound from the tape.
And remember, like, this is something that we talked about a bit. I think all of you have watched it when I was on with the Custody Queens, Sam and Kristen and their appellate attorney, Ron. And we talked about whether or not the fact that the MPD files all say redacted means that they could have messed with the audio and could have scrambled some of the audio, or could have warbled some of the audio in order to And again, I would say they would argue to protect people's personal information. So they would probably justify the manipulating of the audio to protect people's private conversations, which are none of our business, right? And having said that, that's the key, right? So if they did that, if MPD did that because they were protecting stuff that wasn't related to the crime, then leaving the screams unaltered means that they think that that was related to the crime. You follow the logic? If they did take time to redact things out that they don't think are related, then that it's almost as if they're saying the screams are related to the crime. So Twiz has joined us backstage. Are you guys okay with bringing a guest up and having Twiz take a shot with it? Okay, let's do that. Let's do it. Twiz, come on up. What's up, man?
Yo.
Hey, good to see you again.
How's it going?
What up?
Living the dream.
Welcome to the den.
Thanks
What's on your mind, sir?
Well, I mainly want to ask Essie a question.
Sure.
Go for it.
Do you think Ann Taylor has seen pictures of dead bodies?
Of course. Or I shouldn't say of course. I would think she might, as a lawyer, defense lawyer.
So what's your follow-on question?
Well, I mean, I guess that's just really confusing because you say that the crime didn't happen.
Yeah, so I guess what you're saying too is
I would never say that Ann Taylor certainly would not have seen these victims if they were victims. But what's that?
Yeah, that's what I was going to rephrase it. Although it looked like you're freezing up a little bit there. I was going to say what he's getting at then is he's saying, look, do we believe Ann Taylor never saw the? I mean, we may not have seen the crime scene photos, right? But what we have to presume, there's no way in hell the defense hasn't seen the crime scene photos, right? So we may not have as the public, but the defense certainly has, and therefore, by extension, if Ann Taylor has seen the crime scene photos and didn't say this is bullshit, there's no bodies, right? Then what's going on here? Okay, like that, I guess that am I getting kind of the gist of it, Twiz?
Yep, that's it.
So what
but if
that?
It's an operation, then then it's
right, exactly. And it's a great question from is it, how do I say, Twizzers?
Twizzle stick or
just say Twiz.
Twizzle stick. Yeah, I've always said that in my view, just looking at the whole case, and it took me a while to get here, obviously, is that I think Ann Taylor, she's a very slick defense lawyer. She obviously showed that at times, but I think she's probably in on all of this. She's as deep state as you can get as a defense lawyer, working with some of the connections that she's had, I think, in my opinion, and it would be no less what's been going on with the IDO4 and the prosecution. It's one big intelligence sort of operation psyop. They're all in it together to a certain degree. But I could expand more on that, but I'm not going to do that tonight.
So let me reframe that for Twiz in my own way, since I'm kind of refereeing the discussion a little bit. And again, this is not a fight. This is a inquiry, right? So, I can understand like both Joe and Estes is saying, look, if this was some kind of extraction operation
or any kind of operation,
and it's federally involved, Homeland Security, a national security incident or whatever, then the fix would be in all the way on both sides of the equation, right? Both the defense and the prosecution would be in on the fix, and therefore would just go along with the narrative. So is that a possibility for you, Twiz, or is that just really way out there of a stretch of imagination?
In my opinion, that's 100% not possible.
Okay, and that's
but
fair.
I've just talked to Ann Taylor and Eliza Massoff though. So
you did talk to Ann Taylor, you said, and Massoff?
Yeah.
And and what was the gist? Or do you want to share the gist of what your conversation was, or?
Well, they didn't really say much, obviously, but I know some more information behind the scenes. But no, they really care about Brian, especially Eliza. They're fighting for him. They're still fighting for him. So.
Well, I will say this. So there's two things I'll say about that. Twiz, like I'm 100% not doubting your authenticity or whatever, but it's hard, of course, when someone says they have information that nobody else can verify. So
don't believe it. It's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, no, but that's not the point. The point being is that I hope you're right. Like the idea that Ann Taylor is still on the job and still working for this and still fundamentally believes that Kohberger got railroaded and whatever. I want to believe that that's the case. I hope that that's going on behind the scenes. So I appreciate that portion at least to share. Again, what I can't do is, of course, I can't say whether those conversations did or didn't happen. I'm not calling you into question, but I appreciate the thought that it could be happening. And look, I've said it before on this show. I allow, SDs and anybody to question the story. First of all, I think almost all of us are on the same page. The story is bullshit. It didn't happen the way they said it did. That I think most people agree with, except for the hardcore.
At least here in your channel, yeah.
Yeah,
I still think we're in the minority of people that think Brian's innocent. But
can I ask you a question, Twizzle Stick?
Of course.
Okay, cool. I'm all with you. Brian Kohberger is innocent, no doubt about it in my mind. Okay. But a lot of and even on Facebook, the Brian Kohberger supporters, which is great, trying to prove he's innocent as well. And many of you on YouTube, again, I don't see very many, if any, really asking the question, also, because we look at things deep on this channel, as you guys know. Is Brian Kohberger, is he possibly a Fed himself? Was he used maybe willingly on an assignment as the perfect distraction? We know he wanted to enroll in the police department, right? And we know that they enroll sometimes very intelligent people in high academic positions, the feds, they'll groom them, whether it be CIA, FBI sometimes. And was Brian Kohberger possibly used in covert drug operations to maybe help law enforcement? Those are the deep questions that I think are relevant and that we should ask maybe sometimes, just my opinion.
No, it's not a terrible one. I don't know if you ever heard of John Kirikow or Andrew Bustamante.
Yes.
I think Andrew I've heard of Bastante, but
CIA guys.
Yeah, go look up John Kirikow. He is more interesting, in my opinion, because they basically tried to pin the torture program on him. But they pretty much tell you how the CIA at least recruits, and Brian Kohberger would never pass that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and for those, those who are not fully aware, and I don't want to go into it for forever, but one of the reasons why the Kohberger federal government FBI connection got made is because, again, Kohberger literally allegedly said, he wasn't looking to go into law enforcement with a PhD. He was looking to be a top dog in criminology. He wanted to work with the feds. That was one of his desires to do so. And then you factor in the idea that WSU had received a large grant that was funded by the Department of Justice and had money for doing things. So, and it was listed in Kohberger's papers. I mean, we saw on papers screenshots of the stuff that was found in Kohberger's apartment. He knew about the funding that came to WSU for federal funding from the Department of Justice. So then one asks the question, did Kohberger come to Pullman specifically because of the federal dollars? Did the federal government know about Kohberger and his interest in that? And did that ever happen? And is that ever a scenario that entertains some people's minds? And I guess again, I don't go too far with it myself, but I always believe in follow the money. So when you start seeing that kind of stuff, you're like, it's interesting, to at least for a conversation thing. I don't think, in those early states, it wasn't CIA that was talking about recruiting Kohberger. It was more of the FBI and whether or not the FBI was involved in something with Kohberger or not. There's been rumors that, could Kohberger have been working undercover to help? Again, I'm just going to try to finish this part and maybe Twiz can comment on this, because maybe I never heard your talk on this, Twiz, but there was receipts that there was a multi-jurisdictional drug task force in town, and it included multi like Idaho State Police, Moscow, FBI, and they were looking into drugs running through the area, right? And so is there any
the Quad
scenario,
City Task Force?
Yeah, right. And so is there any scenario in which Kohberger, being interested in doing that kind of stuff, was working undercover, helping them look into drugs running through the area?
Well,
is that ever a scenario?
Don't forget that he's, now they have it diagnosed that he's autistic.
Correct.
Well, so that's what Ann Taylor wants you to think. We have no idea if that's really true or not. But you talked to Ann Taylor, so I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, but to be fair,
in the files.
Right.
It's not like it was just said. Like, they have doctors' notes.
Right.
Yeah, but Twiz, that would also be a supporting narrative, right? To just muddy the waters. Oh, he's on the spectrum, whatever. You don't know necessarily.
If it was an operation.
What's that?
If it was an operation.
Yeah, I mean, if it was some kind of an operation, which I believe it was. And now I'm not a sold on an extraction narrative. I just don't rule it out. But Kohberger, I've said this many times. If this was some kind of an operation, which I believe it was, that means by just basic logic that everything we've been told is either completely false or inaccurate to
That's
the
right,
actual
Joe,
what
man.
actually
State of the
happened.
deep.
And nobody none of us can say it was or it wasn't, because everything is compartmentalized. The further up you go in any institution, whether it's law enforcement or whatever, banking, corporate America. So I'm just holding out for the idea, the possibility that a lot of what we've been told about Kohberger could be false. I'm not saying it's all false.
That's right.
Let me throw the counter that a little bit on Twiz's side for this, and I want to say this. I personally, again, I love that you guys have this opinion and you guys are sharing it. I'm kind of of the opinion, I think, with Twiz, that Kohberger does have autism spectrum disorder. And here's the problem. This is the reason why in part it leads to his conviction, because people that are on the spectrum often don't state things the way that you and I do. It doesn't look normal to people. They see their behavior. They see a flat affect, which is a common thing of autism spectrum. It looks flat. And so you just think, look at how cold he is. Look at the inappropriate questions. I mean, he's being arrested for murder and he's asking if a cop wants to go have coffee sometime. That's signs that the guy's just freaking out there and a cold-blooded killer. Or maybe it's exactly what they said it was. He has autism spectrum disorder, and he doesn't think the same way that everybody does, and he certainly doesn't present the same way that everybody does. And that, in fact, is the reason why they jumped all over the guy, because, well, there's something creepy about that answer. And so they get in their head, he must be guilty because his answers look suspicious, and maybe his answers look suspicious because he's on the spectrum, right? So how? Well, that is the counter.
There's also a history there. There's history there.
Well, I agree with both of you guys.
His mom has posts about him before he was arrested. You can go talk to the people that he went to school with growing up. So, I mean, it's not like he was a completely normal person, came here to Pullman, and then started acting weird, you know?
I mean, I agree with Twiz and DA. I'm not, my argument isn't like he's not autistic. He's not on the spectrum. My argument is more broad, that if there was some kind of an operation going on, that it's very possible and probably likely that a lot of what we have been told is not accurate. Now, he could have autism spectrum disorder. I mean, Elon Musk is autistic, and he's one of the richest men in the world. It doesn't mean you can't be very effective if you're autistic. He's obviously a high-performing student in a PhD program at that point. So I'm not even talking so much about the autism. I'm just saying if there was an operation at play, and Taylor can talk about it, nobody is going to be able to talk about it if it's a national security related thing. And Twiz, have you ever heard of the book Dark Alliance?
I've heard of that book. I don't think I've read it, but
I certainly haven't read it, but I don't know.
It's basically about when the CIA was involved in drugs and gun running. They were supporting the Contras in versus the Sandinistas in Nicaragua, and Congress, for things that Congress won't approve, the CIA would fund operations through black operations to raise money for other operations. So they were running drugs and guns to support the operation in Nicaragua. My point is that a lot of times the government gets involved with things that are unsavory for other reasons. And so one of my contentions has been for a long time that it's very possible that the feds were involved with drug activities in the area, or at the very least were aware of it. So, and we're allowing it to happen, not necessarily for nefarious reasons, but maybe because they wanted to work towards a bigger case. Well, I guess.
Yeah. And I don't want to get terribly conspiratorial, and I'm not making an accusation, but I also think that it is historically proven that big drug operations, big drug places that have trafficking, often there are officers that get compromised, law enforcement officers that help with the protection of drug running, protection of drug smugglers, all these things like that. So again, you can even have a situation where, you know, maybe some of the feds are looking into the local law enforcement and whether or not they're connected to a drug ring, and if they're covering stuff up, and are the cops looking the other way to run drugs through the cities with that. So I think there's a lot of things that could be at play. And again, those kind of scenarios doesn't necessarily mean an extraction. It could also, though, indicate some kind of way more going on behind the scenes than we think is going on behind a simple incel that just killed 4 people in a house kind of thing. But is there any other?
Damn sure.
Any other follow-on questions you want to have, Twiz? Or
what if I told you that I have some information, which I'm not going to prove, but that's what was going on?
I mean, that's my gut. My gut tells me that. And again, you know me, I'm kind of a receipts kind of guy. I try at least to not talk about it too much if I don't have something. But my gut tells me, yeah, it's more like that. And so if you say you've got stuff like that, I would say I would be inclined to think you might, because again, my gut tells me it's something like that. But
yeah.
Any other follow-on questions or comments?
No, I actually have to jump down.
All right. Thank you for coming on and sharing your thoughts.
Of course.
With us and giving us
nice
stuff
to meet
talk about.
everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And Esty, that wasn't a personal question. I was literally just curious. It wasn't me calling you out or anything. I was literally just curious what you were going to say.
Hey, man, ask me a question again in the future. We love having you.
I do have one. I'm going to have one.
I'll ask you another question another time.
Yeah, I can come back in a little bit, but just like there are people that are like paid disinformation, not necessarily in this case, of course, but like there's a difference between people's having opinions and people just spreading bullshit, and who benefits from bullshit being spread.
A lot of the time,
money and power
would be the DOJ. Yeah, money, profit, the people in charge of profit, power, and control. And we want to dismantle that. We want to dismantle, as Dr. Shiva calls, the swarm. We're after truth and justice on Devil's Advocates, and don't you think we're not otherwise, folks.
All right, Twiz.
All right, I'm going to jump in chat.
We'll
Alrighty.
again. All right.
See you, Twiz.
So yeah, I mean, these are great questions. And again, I love it when people can kind of like, like he just said, there's nothing personal in the question. He literally just wants to hear the counter. Like if it really is what you're saying, how would you explain this? And that's not a dick move. It's like, I really want to know how you would explain this. And so I applaud that kind of conversation. Any other questions, by the way, from people who are coming? I saw a lot of people. Unfortunately, I pinned stuff that was more supportive of me. I think DA's right. I think he does have Asperger's. He does have, and so I pinned those, but it was just because of what I was seeing, not because I'm like, hey, I'm only going to pin shit that makes me look good. But
you're not a wannabe narcissist.
And I wasn't refuting the autism spectrum thing, just for clarity.
Yeah, I agree. I heard you say that several times. Yeah, you're like, you're not saying you disagree that.
I think it's all part of the pre-planted narrative myself that Brian Kohberger's got autism. We're going to have the defense say it. This is, we're talking Whitsick law, folks. We're going to talk more about that someday on this live.
All right, looking for any more questions, comments. If Twiz set the example. See how nice we are when you come up on screen. Come up and join us. Say something. Give us something to talk about. Ask questions. Again, we do cover other cases, but of course, seems to be the hot and heavy one. So I know that's where people. Here's the thing. I was talking. While I wait for somebody to come up, I had a car drive with somebody I don't talk to very often, and he said, "Hey, you're doing a YouTube thing with true crime and whatever." And, it turned to, who you're doing the Kohberger case? Oh, isn't that guy that killed all those people and whatever? And so I started to talk to him a little bit about some of the new stuff that came out, and he goes, "You know what? That case has never made sense, and the public wants to know, but we don't have time and energy to ask the questions, so we just trust that they're telling us the truth." And I'm like, and so he at the end of it, he said, "I actually applaud you for putting the pressure on, because we all want to know the answers, but we just don't have time. Most people don't have the time, the energy. They know fundamentally something's wrong, and they're hoping." What a lot of people are hoping for is a really good fucking documentary that comes out and goes, "Oh wow, that's what happened," and they don't want to do the research themselves. They don't want to, because it's work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So
that's why we commend you, DA, for your dedication, your stellar dedication.
They can do it. They just got to give up sleep.
You can do it. Put your back into it.
It's a good song.
It is, yeah.
Is that from Richard Simmons? What song?
No,
is that?
I don't think Richard Simmons ever said put your back into it or put your ass into it. I don't know, but yeah, it's a good thing.
I didn't say that. Were you a comedian ever at Yuck Yucks? We have Yuck Yucks here in Canada. Do you have Yuck Yucks?
No,
comedian?
I don't have I've never heard of a Yuck Yucks. Yeah.
Oh, well, they have comedians, live comedians. I think you'd be fantastically if you ever give it some thought.
I have stage fright, man. I couldn't do it. I have
I'll get you over the stage fright, dude. I'm a public speaker. We'll get you over that, and then your wit and charm will just engulf people on stage like it is right now with our audience, our amazing audience.
You're hilarious. You're hilarious. I always thought it would be fun, but man, could you imagine? You know what the other part that sucks? I can't. Here's the reason, by the way, why we're unscripted, because I don't like saying something like over and over again the same way. And so if you're a comedian, you're literally doing the same skit over and over again and expecting laughs, and it starts to feel phony because it's like, this is not a spontaneous thing I just said. I scripted this, and it just feels phony. It feels unauthentic. I never could be a comedian because I can't fake that kind of stuff. But
I hope Joe Rogan heard what you said. He'd be pissed off, but that's Joe Rogan.
Hey, I love Joe Rogan, but I don't. His stand-up is not the best. I'll tell you.
No, I agree.
But
he thinks he's the best. Again, he's another either narcissist or he's a wannabe narcissist.
All right, what else we got? We got any comments, questions? We talked about the dog.
Well, Amanda just had me drop the link, so I assume someone might want to come up.
Oh, okay. So maybe
I don't know.
That'd be cool.
I'm kidding, Joe Rogan. I know you got a lot of money, dude. Excuse me. I'm kidding, dude. I'm kidding, man. It's just my opinion. Joe Rogan, that's another guy I would like to box with, although he does a lot of more UFC mixed martial arts. But
he's got the right connection. He could put you and Pav in a UFC ring.
So Cat's Mojo says more people want to come in and talk, but we're sending the link out. People they gotta meet me halfway. I would love to have you come on, but we need to have somebody to click on the link and get staged backstage so we can bring you on. So if there are people looking to come up on stage, I'll post the link again. Invite.
I'll be right back.
I thought Robin just said she did it though. Yeah,
I just posted it.
All you got to do is click on that link if you're interested in coming up. We'd love to have you up and be able to ask some questions. And
we do not bite. We are warm and engaging.
Yeah.
Hit the button.
I'll only shut your mic off if you're an asshole, but that rarely happens. It rarely happens. So, and that's like the tip part. So let's see, the people say they want to come up, but then when we give them the opportunity, they don't come up. So I understand that people get stage fright or whatever, but, pin the link. How do we pin the link? So one of the mods on YouTube will have to pin the link. Do we have a mod on YouTube? Look, we got somebody up. We got somebody up. Yeah, Phoenix. Let's see which Phoenix, because there's a new member that's very active on our channel called Phoenix. I don't know if Phoenix talks, but we'll see. We'll find out in a minute. So I'm going to bring you on stage. Bam, Phoenix, how you doing?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi. Couple of things. First thing regarding the autism. You know how they were talking about how he worked in the restaurant and he couldn't cut things and stuff like that?
Yeah.
My daughter, who's autistic and she's in college, she's absolutely brilliant. She still to this day at 20 years old can't tie. She can't do like simple things like cutting food. So to think that he would kill that many people in that amount of time when they said he had fine motor skill issues too, to me is just completely, that right there alone is so huge. And then when it comes to this question is for you, 1-1, when the crime happened and the cops went there, supposedly when they said that they did, wouldn't they normally separate everybody so that no one can talk to each other and make up some kind of a story or something like that?
So, stop for a second. For a second. You got two questions, one of which I want to answer and one of which 1-1 wants to answer. So I'm gonna let you go 1-1 first on the crime scene, separation of witnesses, getting statements, and then I want to follow up on the fish fillet comment, the flaying fish thing. So
awesome. So I did. I've watched pretty much, I think, just about all the body camera videos of the officers responding, the first officers responding. They're from soup to nuts. They were off base on almost everything that they did, except the one officer. He puts the crime scene tape around the house relatively pretty quick.
The only normal thing.
That the video of them like going in, kind of into the rooms, and you can hear their breathing and some of the comments. To me, I felt like it was kind of authentic and whatnot. So I don't believe that it's possible that, if you have some officers or whatnot that were involved in something that went on here, some kind of, thing that they may not, maybe not all of them are involved. So one of the things definitely that flew off the page, I could tell you, which is ridiculous, is yes, a few things. One, absolutely, all those people standing around conversing, absolutely ridiculous. Now, obviously, the officers first on scene, our main priority is to preserve life. So, they're getting there and they're getting the job that it's possibly an unconscious male or unconscious female, whatever the job, specifically was. They're going there. That's our main job, is to preserve life. So they don't necessarily even know that it's a crime scene yet, or what's happening. So you may have a whole bunch of people standing outside. That wouldn't be their first priority. But the second that they have a homicide inside and they clear the house, which that was the worst clearing of a house that I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely.
I could tell you, if I had been on scene, if I was one of the first responding officers, Hunter would have been placed in handcuffs immediately. I mean, you don't.
He had a knife.
You're right. Exactly. Right. Yeah. He could be one of the perpetrators. You're gonna allow. You don't know who this guy is or girl, whatever.
And did
right.
You notice how skinny he's gotten since then? Like he's sick over here.
Yeah. So
before you, I want to say.
Well, I just want to say real quick, because I know I said a few different things, but absolutely. They should have, once they got more officers on scene, absolutely, there shouldn't have been, we shouldn't be able to see an officer interviewing Dylan and you see 5 people standing together across the street. Absolutely ridiculous. And then what's also ridiculous is that even later on, after they had more officers on scene and maybe even some outside agencies helping and whatnot, because obviously this is a small department, we shouldn't see a group of them standing together or sitting together at the police department either. Absolutely, it's ridiculous.
And didn't they let them leave too to go take a shower or something at somebody's apartment?
I don't know about that, but they were kept in a hotel later that night. I mean, they just weren't separated for shit. And
it was ridiculous.
Again, I mean, just like you said, when the officer is interviewing Dylan and he's allowing all the group of students to sit there talking out of his earshot, just continuing to talk while he's having this interview, and then allows Dylan to return to that group and then take the whole thing. I was just like, horrible. I'm not a cop, and I can tell you that's piss poor management of witnesses. There's no way they should be able to intermingle with each other and get their stories straight while they're literally. I mean, it's 101. You get everybody separated and you start asking, and you're looking for inconsistencies. They're never looking for inconsistencies. And again,
the three people. So on scene right away with knowing, I mean, I know it's hard because we know the info we know now, but 3 people right away that should not. Hunter should have been handcuffed. Not just because you're placed in handcuffs doesn't mean you're under arrest, but he's holding a knife at a place of 4 homicides. So he should have been placed in handcuffs, and he could have been brought back to the precinct and for further investigation. The other 2 people would have been Dylan and Bethany, because their story makes no sense. Waiting 8 hours, 9 hours to call 911, and they said they were there sleeping the whole time, whatever. They would have not necessarily, you wouldn't necessarily have to handcuff them, but they should have been brought back immediately as well.
And is that considered a crime not to call the cops, even if it was 8 or 10 hours when you know something crazy happened? Because there's no way they could not.
If
Yeah, well, here's the thing. If they could, that all goes along with the ME, and they have some crazy technology now. If they can know that, whatever. Let's just say like Ethan, was stabbed and whatever, right? But he was still alive, and let's say they basically can they determine that, well, he probably died sometime around 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and you can prove that Dylan was awake and she didn't get him help. Yeah, she definitely they definitely could go after them for certain things, but you got to have very specific info.
Let's stop for a second, because two things happened, unfortunately, when we were doing this. One, of course, one is as long-winded as I is, so it takes a while to get to that question. And I have another question I want to answer. And here's what sucks. We had somebody else queued up and backstage and they left, maybe because I didn't even have a chance to tell them we will get to you. But sometimes we run a little long. The answers are long. If that person wants to come back on stage, I was wanting to get a word in edgeways to say, yeah, we will get to you. Trust me, we're working on it. But sometimes we get all excited. We're very passionate about the topic. I wanted to it was funny because one went quite a ways on the segregation of witnesses part one. I want to go back to the flaying of fish thing for a minute. And again, the two of us talking takes a half hour while somebody sits backstage. So again, if somebody wants to come back up, please come back up. I'll try to be briefer on the flaying of fish. That story pisses me off. I can rant like a million miles an hour. F you, freaking media. That bullshit story that came. There's our guest came back. Thank you so much. I'll get to you in just a minute. That bullshit narrative story, Brian Kohberger, did you know that he worked at a place flaying fish? That proves he could have killed 4 people because he knew how to work a knife. You fucking morons. Like, here's the thing. That boss was literally interviewed. Brian Kohberger didn't even work there long enough to learn how to cut fish. He didn't get trained how to cut fish. But the media ran with the fucking narrative that the guy knows how to kill 4 people in 8 minutes because he filleted a fish, for fuck's sake.
Even if he could cut a fish, who says he can kill people?
Right. And then they did the same shit with, well, Brian Kohberger's a boxer. Oh, are you kidding me? He's a boxer. One, the fighting style keeps people at distance. You don't close if you're a boxer. Second of all, he was doing it to lose weight. There's not even any evidence he ever stepped in a ring with anyone ever. He was going to hit in a heavy bag, but no, he's a boxer and he's a runner. He's super fit. His body is a temple. That guy's like a fucking rock hard and he fillets fish. You know he's got to be the guy.
Well, the last thing I'll say, I know you got somebody else waiting, but I just wanted to say one more thing, and it always sticks out to me when Dylan is getting questioned by the cops on scene. It reminds me so much of that video when the girls were all playing around and pretending to be each other. Yeah. You saw like how animated Dylan was when she was acting. I felt like that same fake acting vibe when they were talking to her. I don't know if it was just me because that was in my head, but
it's not just you. Yeah.
That was the last thing I wanted to say to you guys. And you guys are doing an awesome job, Lee. Keep going forward, and we all support you. And the rest of you guys, thank you so much for staying on this case.
Thanks, Phoenix. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Phoenix.
Bye.
All right, let's have another guest come up. Maybe we'll get lucky and Estes and Robin will get a chance to talk, or Joe, for fuck's sake. Like we're walking all over our other guests. They never get to talk, but let's bring
fucking are, man. You're lucky.
I know I'm such an asshole. I'll try, but I can't get on the flaying fish. You mentioned fillet a fish and I'm going to lose my shit. If you say one more time, he can kill 4 people because he knows how to fillet a fish, I'm going to lose my shit.
You should know it's all about the highly charged emotional narrative. I keep saying that's so high emotion, man.
Guys, he did Foxy.
Can't wait to make a clip on that.
You know?
All right, is it Laugh Cardio? How are you doing? You there?
Oh, that's me.
I'm getting an echo off of our guest. Is our guest live? Hello.
Hello.
You're replaying my voice.
I think our guest has their microphone on. They walked away to take a leak, and we're reverberating through their microphone.
Oh,
is what I think's happening.
Hi, I don't know if you can hear me.
I hear you now.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
What's going on?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Fair.
Turn your volume down.
Turn your volume down in the background a little bit, so it's a little bit. We don't hear the echo. And then,
I don't really know what I'm doing.
Okay.
because I'm hearing you guys and I'm hearing me, so I don't know what I'm doing.
Turn the volume down on your computer if you can, so it's well, I guess then you can't hear me talking to you, can you? It's best when
Are
you
you
have
watching
headphones
on your TV?
I'm watching on the TV, but I'm talking on the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you mute your television, you
Yeah.
should still be able to hear us through your phone.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Okay.
a lot better.
What's
There
on
you
your
go.
mind?
So, well, I think you just answered some of my question, but it's not really a question. It's just an observation that I just get so tired of everyone talking about all the, the rumors they're hearing and not sticking to the facts. There are so many facts that we're just overlooking, and all this talk about, whether or not he has autism, we don't know. I mean, we just know what we're told. There's so much confirmation bias and personal bias, that I'm not trying to put anybody down or anything. It's just frustrating for me running into people all the time saying, "Oh, Kohberger did it. I know he did it." And it's like, well, how do you know he did it? I don't see any facts.
Yeah.
No facts.
Right.
And it's like, and what facts we do have, we're getting from the television or the social media. So we really don't have any facts. I mean, and then the ones we can all speculate, but we don't have the facts. We just know that, evidently he pled guilty and evidently they're saying it was him, and everybody's just jumping on the bandwagon to say, put him through the wood chipper and all this other stuff on social media. And we don't know who this person is.
And the
we
facts
know
that we've been given by
think
DOJ is bullshit. Oh, I'm sorry, DA, did I interrupt
No, go
you?
ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying the obvious, right? The facts, many of the facts that we've been given, I think you guys would concur what we've been talking about by the DOJ and everybody in charge of this case from the top down. They seem to be corrupt as hell. And they must have their reasons for, in my view, a big cover up, as we've talked about as well. All right.
Yeah. The only thing we would know for sure is that it's just none of it makes sense.
No, exactly.
No matter how you look at it. And little parts
a lot of
make
it
sense.
doesn't.
Go ahead,
There's
Robin.
a lot of documents out there that at this point, that's what we have to use as facts, and court documents, the state police documents, Moscow PD, although, but so that's kind of what we have to use. But some of this stuff, like Lee said, the whole filleting the fish and all, you're absolutely right, Lefcadio. There's so many rumors, and the mainstream media needs to stop taking those rumors and just running with them. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, he was never interrogated. Like, or if he was interrogated, we never saw that. It's also there's definitely something is up, but nobody really knows what that is. And you guys are doing a great job of trying to get to the bottom of everything. It gets a little frustrating for me watching all the different crime shows and seeing so many people speculating about things that don't make any sense to me because they're not factual. They're just speculation. It's like, oh, that could be a person, in the picture, but maybe it's not a person in the picture because we can't make out the outline. And why
let's talk a minute about
faces redacted.
Yeah, and let's talk a minute about what are facts and what are not facts. For example, the autism thing. Let's talk about that for a second. So that Brian Kohberger has autism is not a fact, right? That it was mentioned that the defense said that he has autism is a fact. That's in court records. That they were showing documents and receipts that he has autism spectrum is a fact, right? But we can't say for fact whether he does or he doesn't. But we do know it's a fact that it was brought up and it was a discussion. They were looking into it for potential mitigating factors if it did get to the death penalty point, and whether or not his autism would actually take death penalty off the table because of his mental disability. Because it wouldn't be fair for a jury to convict him if they think, look, he must be a cold-blooded killer. Look at the way he just sits there staring at us with a flat affect without knowing that he has that thing. So we know it's a fact so there's some things that are fact that you can say it's fact that it's part of the public record. Now, whether he did or he didn't have it, that we don't know. The other thing that happens too is a lot of times, unfortunately, the media knows damn well that they just have to say something in a certain way, and they didn't say. For example, it wasn't really the media that said Brian Kohberger could kill people in 8 minutes with a knife because he can fillet fish. What they said was Brian Kohberger learned how to fillet fish, and then that's all they said. They made a factual, what they thought was a factual statement, and everyone else ran with it because the public is a moron. And they know damn well, in my opinion, the media knows damn well the media will run with things if they phrase it in a certain way. But they phrase it in a certain way to tell you a fact that they know the fact will look incriminating and everyone will jump all over it. And so we just have to be super careful when we're talking about the facts to just say, and I ask the questions, wait a minute, like we did with the dog thing. Wait a minute. Did law enforcement tell us that was Murphy, or did YouTubers say it was Murphy? Because we're saying, oh, they lied about Murphy. It's not Murphy barking. Well, I don't think law enforcement said it was Murphy. They might have even said, yeah, a dog can be heard barking. They know damn well you're going to jump all over it. You're going to think it's Murphy, but they didn't say it was. So we have to be really careful when we're talking about what was stated as facts and what wasn't, because it can get really nuanced.
I think the biggest thing, you know, what you're talking about there with confirmation bias and all that. How about the media for, you know, 2.5 years or whatever it was, saying that Brian Kohberger cleaned his car in the garage. And now we know, we have, based on the report, you know, if we're going to say that the report, you know, is authentic from, you know, the actual document, there's no evidence of any bleach or any cleaning thing in his car. So how come mainstream media says that he cleaned his car in his garage?
Let me point out another thing. Let me point out another thing that law enforcement did, and they know damn well how it's going to be, but they're clever about it. A car consistent with that of Brian Kohberger. That's what they like to use. They're not saying it's Brian Kohberger's car. They're saying a car consistent with a white Elantra, a car consistent with, and they're being careful. They're not saying Brian Kohberger's car is seen on this video 5 times. They always say a car consistent with. You, meaning rhetorically you, in the public, go, well, they just said Kohberger's car was driving around the neighborhood. No, they didn't. They said a car consistent with, and consistent can be really vague. A white Elantra, whatever year it is, or a white Ford Explorer, or a white whatever it is, if it's a white car, it's consistent with a car that matches the description of Kohberger. And so they know damn well that they oftentimes play games and people don't pick up on the nuances. Saying that a car consistent with the white Elantra does not mean they saw Brian Kohberger's car, and they're not even saying that they saw it. They said they saw a car consistent with a car that looks like Brian Kohberger's car. So we have to be super careful about what they actually did say and how much people ran away with it in the mainstream media and started to convict Brian Kohberger in the court of public opinion because they hinted at you that a car consistent with the car that Kohberger drives was seen at the scene. You know,
there's a couple of YouTube channels, and I won't mention their names now. It's not even worth mentioning, but as you may or may not know, my friends, that they were saying, you know, about the Brian Kohberger's cars. This is consistent with Brian Kohberger's car near or at the crime scene. You know, some of the Brian Guilters out there. If my memory serves me correct, anyways, they kept showing video after video of the car, right? And thinking that it's Brian Kohberger's car and that he's guilty. Somehow he did a quadruple homicide, and they built their channel through that. You know,
and I want to hit on what Just a Devil Woman said. Ann Taylor wanted to throw out suspect vehicle 1 because what she said was, and she's right, it's for the jury to decide whether or not that's the same car circling the neighborhood over and over again. You telling them, here you see suspect vehicle 1, and here you see suspect vehicle 1 again, and here you see suspect, that's fucking prejudicial all day long. It's for the jury to decide. What they should say is, here you see a car entering, and which we believe is consistent with, and here you see a car entering, which we believe is consistent with, and then Ann Taylor can say, how many other white Elantras are there in the area? Can you even tell it's a white Elantra? How many other white cars? Fuck, when I did sorry for my language, I get passionate. When I did a drive around with Joe and a drive around later with Rhonda, there was white cars everywhere in that neighborhood. There were white cars.
You have a white car, right?
I have a white car. I drove a white car. I almost put suspect vehicle 2 on the side of my car driving around there because I thought it would be funny. Actually, I didn't think it would be funny. It'd probably get me shot. But the point being is that it was prejudicial in the first place to keep calling it suspect vehicle 1 when that's for a jury to decide whether it's the same car over and over again.
And you know, with regards to Lafcadio, regarding narratives, we talk about this a lot. And the media, there's a misconception that people have that the media is obligated to tell you the truth. Like your average person they don't think about it very much, but the media is not obligated to tell you the truth. So if they have a narrative, whether it's handed to them by the intelligence agencies or a corporation or the people that fund the show or their advertisers, they just push that narrative. So for all we know, there could have been powerful forces that were telling them this is the narrative we're going with. And that's why we often see with high profile cases, they're all in lockstep on the narrative. And I believe that is because they are paid to do that. They're directed to do that. And it's happening a lot in the Charlie Kirk case, lockstep narrative with Tyler Robinson. And so, what DA and I have talked about, the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act, the government is legally allowed to propagandize American citizens. And that, by default, that means all of their proxies are legally allowed to do that as well. And the media, we know from the history of the CIA and the media, they're legally allowed to basically lie. I say lie because propaganda is a lie as far as I'm concerned. So I just don't think enough people realize that. Or maybe they don't want to realize that because it would be a hard thing to swallow.
Can I add one sentence, even though I'm not in your amazing United States? I would say the mandate of the CIA at times is to lie, deny, and deceive at the expense of, American taxpayers. Not to say that all of them are bad. Don't want to get any of them, the agencies pissed at me, the small little Estes crime maze. But we just have to keep, obviously, as what we're doing, keeping our eyes and ears open for the intelligence agencies and mainstream media, how they, as Joe likes to say, describe how they put out these narratives, and DA as well. So, but that's how they work, right? And don't believe Tucker Fucker Carlson plays too, because he said he wanted to be CIA. He is CIA, make $25 million a year from Fox News. I don't even think he covers the Idaho 4K. Shame on him. In my opinion.
Well, his father, right? His father was like pivotal in the propaganda, the whole thing there. Yeah.
The not so obvious establishment.
So, Lafcadio, do you have any other questions you want to ask or follow-ups?
Yeah, just one other comment that I had was one of the reasons why I think that it's a large operation that we'll never quite figure out is the ground is always moving, the bar is always shifting, the information that we're being fed is always changing. Kaylee, it started out, there were gunshots, and then there was this guy who went in 8 minutes, knifed a bunch of people and had a crush on one of them. And then before you know it, a couple years later, there were experimental wounds and one of them got it worse than the other. And then there was gagging and all this, the information just changed. It's like, well, why didn't they have all this information within the first 2 weeks? Every other case I've ever looked at has information within the first 2 weeks, but they just keep discovering more and more people, and they just have everybody just kind of off balance. So everybody's searching for nothing. Everybody's just looking for, sticks thrown out in the road, and they're like, oh yeah, there's just no stick out in the road. Nothing to find.
I mean, you bring up another point that I just caught right now. It has now been released as the documents are getting released, right? The behind doors, closed door hearing with Hippler, where Steve Gonsalves said something to the effect of, I hate the word gag order considering some of the victims were gagged. And I'm thinking to myself, hold on, Estes, because I know you didn't think it happened. The point being is that if that's true, that it is known some of the victims were gagged, then the narrative they told America that they were all sleeping, which, as you said, this story has continually changed for years. They were all sleeping. That's why they got killed so quick, because they were all sleeping. Okay, maybe some of them had defensive wounds. Okay, maybe 3 out of 4 of them had defensive wounds. Okay, maybe there was screaming and people heard screaming. Okay, maybe Kaylee had marks on her face showing that she had been gagged. Okay, maybe more than one person got gagged. Well, fuck! At some point, your story no longer makes sense. It no longer makes sense. How is this not exculpatory information? All of that is exculpatory information. Open a damn investigation into what happened on this case. That's what we're asking for. Open a damn investigation. Somebody was lied to. Actually, everyone was lied to in America. And now as the documents coming out, we can see the proof of the lies. That's all exculpatory. Every bit of that's exculpatory information. Why is that coming out now? And why are we just, hey, Why are you pissed off about it? He pled guilty. It's done. He admitted he did it. He admitted he did it because none of that shit was allowed to be shown to anybody. So you convicted him in the court of public opinion. That's my argument. What if that's what happened? What if he pled guilty because there was no chance in hell he was going to get a fair trial because no jury was going to be allowed to see any of the shit that shows people were gagged, they fought back, they were screaming. It does not fit the story that they were all asleep and killed in 8 minutes. So
right. Not with Hitler. Not with Hitler there.
and it feels wrong on a million levels, whether or not anybody will do anything about it. That's the thing. And these things take forever. It's a slow process. I hope that America and international, we have an international community. I hope that people have the wherewithal to stay with it and ask questions until we get answers, because it's going to take a while. It's going to take pressure. And I hope you have the gumption to just keep pressing and give a shit because again, this is same thing I told you. I had that drive with somebody today. And one of the things he said to me was the same thing I'm on fire about. Well, if you're right, that means the real killers are walking free today. And I'm like, damn right. That's my point. If there was more than one, even if Kohberger was one of them, if he did it with somebody, then somebody's walking free. That's a murderer. And maybe even being celebrated as being a hero because, oh, wow, you went through all that. Who knows who was helping out with that crime? They may be on TV literally as, and again, on a side tangent, Framed, that book from John Grisham that just came out. It has happened in multiple cases where the actual perpetrators worked with law enforcement to pin it on somebody who didn't do it. The people who did the crime worked with law enforcement to pin it on somebody who didn't do it. It's happened before. It can happen again. It may have happened here. Who knows? That's why we should ask questions and keep the pressure on.
Love it.
You know how sometimes, a little kid will tell a lie, or a teenager will tell a lie, and then they will almost get caught in that lie, and they will just keep covering it up and covering it up and covering it up with all kinds of anything they can cover it up with. It almost seems like this, like they may have been doing something that they thought was not going to be such a big deal, turned into being a bigger deal than it was, and then it just kept ballooning and ballooning, and they kept trying to cover and cover and cover it up until now it's out of control, and they're still trying to cover it up until it dies.
I 100% agree. The phrase that comes to mind is in for a penny, in for a pound. Once you did the first lie and you realized that people saw the lie, then you had to make another lie to cover up that lie, and then another lie to cover up that lie. And it was in for a penny, in for a pound. Once you decided you were going to lie about this case, you have to go balls deep. So pardon my French. So the point being is that's what I think they did. I think they thought that nobody would ask the question. When they started to ask the question, then they had to lie to cover up that lie, and they had to lie to cover up that lie. And now they're just deep shit in lies.
Well, they have to lie to cover up, in my view. And Phoenix basically laid it out. I don't know if she realized, and some of you, and one, the way you guys were talking earlier, they had to cover up a staged crime scene.
And that's another option. Yeah, right.
No, it's a fact, but we'll leave it at that.
I would say, didn't we just talk, SDs, about the difference between fact and assumptions?
Right.
But,
I guess that went over past my ears, but when you look with your own eyes,
go back and watch the replay. Go back and watch the replay.
Okay.
That's why what we're doing is so important, is because we've gotten very lax about demanding the truth. And just assuming that the government always has our best interests at heart when we know they don't. And that's why we as private citizens, we have the right to know as much of the truth as possible. And so that's what we're fighting for. And if they're doing it in this case, I mean, we know down through history, they've well, you get my point. I won't go real deep into it, but so yeah, that's what we're fighting for. So we want the truth.
Yeah, I 100% agree with everyone working to find the truth. I just wonder if you're ever going to find the truth, and I hope you never give up until you do find the truth. But I think they're going to keep trying to cover it up. And I'm kind of on the same page with SD, even though maybe it's not fact, but I'm just like, this makes no sense at all. So probably the simplest answer is the best answer.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. And, as far as the not giving up thing, I certainly don't intend to give up I'm going to keep at this. There will come a time, or there could potentially come a time when people reach fatigue in this case, right? Like there's a lot of people who are like, I'm just done talking about it. Nothing's going to get done. It's a done deal. He pled guilty. It's over. Move on to the next thing. And so there will be a lot of drop off, right? As time goes by, there's gonna be a lot of drop off where people are just tired of hearing about this case and they're not going to think anything's going to happen. And then 5 years from now, a documentary comes out and says, hey, overturning a wrongful conviction in the Idaho case, and everybody will be interested again. So in the meantime, people are fighting behind the scenes, and hopefully that'll be us fighting behind the scenes to get that thing overturned as a wrongful conviction. But it may be something you have to stop talking about for a while because people reach fatigue and they just want to get the cliff notes and know that it got overturned. So,
and I think when more video gets released, we'll get to see the girls, Maddie and Kaylee, arriving at home, or we won't, because we should have. There's got to be video out there of them being dropped off the house. Now we haven't seen
100%. Right. And that's the missing footage. That's Jules has asked for that footage. That was in her package that she paid for, from what I understand. From what I understand, Jules already paid for the footage that they haven't given her yet, which includes the time frame of which Eric Gower supposedly dropped the girls off at the house. How have we not seen that yet? As far as I understand, she already paid for that. So where's that?
If she can get it, it better be clear.
Well, you know, the last thing I'll say, and then I won't bother you with this idea, but a few times on the show, I've proposed the idea that there was a partial extraction that took place.
Yeah.
And that it's possible that Kaylee and Maddie never went back to the house. Again, just theorizing. Since
Kaylee
we
and
don't
Maddie
have that footage, and that two people were killed in the house, but Kaylee and Maddie, an extraction could have been planned before that because they knew there was a risk or there was a danger of something going down. And then that's why we saw the WITSEC boxes, and that's why, the relocation boxes, and that's why the marshals were there. We saw the marshals with their cowboy hats on. And so I'm trying to look at a scenario in which it works with a lot of the information that we have. Not the official information we've gotten by connecting dots. So that's why I think that video will be critical, because if there's no video of the girls coming back to the house, which is maybe why they don't want to provide that, then that could imply that there was an extraction involved in the case, and they had to lie that all four of them. That would also give some explanation to why Dylan and Bethany didn't seem at all concerned about Kaylee and Maddie. They were only worried about a roommate's passed out. And
here's what's interesting to me. So Amanda B said, and this may be the answer, but let's talk about how weird this would be and what that means. Amanda B says that she believes that answer that Jules has been given as to why they haven't provided that is it hasn't been redacted yet. They still are working on the redaction. Isn't that interesting, however, that we have all kinds of footage that Jules has been releasing for afterwards of that morning? That's all been, so they've had time to redact all the stuff afterward. They just haven't had time to redact the stuff during critical moments of this case. After it's all said and done, they're fine with all of that coming out and have had plenty of time to do the redactions, but they haven't had time to do the redaction on the most critical piece. Think about the logic of that. This is the most critical piece. This is the piece that everyone would want to know. This and of course the footage that did get released, the 2:30 at 3 o'clock in the morning, and of course the actual time of the murders that they say it happened between 4 and 4:20 in the morning. But the point being is that how is it that such a critical time frame still hasn't been redacted yet after 3 years, but other footage that nobody gives a shit about, hey, we've had plenty of time to redact that. It should tell you red flags. It should raise red flags.
I'm sure glad you're not in a think tank for the CIA, either you, Joe, or DA. Thank you for fighting for truth and justice and not selling out, because you guys, and for one for that matter. But I mean, he's always going to be with his 35,000 amazing compadres there in New York City cops. I wouldn't want to leave that either, man. That's cushy.
This might be a dumb question, but I'm wondering, since there is no trial and he already pled guilty and it's all said and done, why are we still redacting And why are we redacting, what's her name? Dylan's face and Bethany's face. Why are we redacting their faces when they weren't redacted in court? So if we're not supposed to know what they look like, they've changed already, but now we know what they've changed into because we saw them in court.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's not a dumb question. It's a great question. And here's the thing, like the judge, this is my simple way of explaining it. The judge has to decide about unredacting things that have been redacted, and it's their discretion on what to unredact and to not redact, right? And so the judge has to weigh the public's interest and right to know what happened versus people's privacy and stuff like that, which is why, for example, classic example, the public wants to see the damn crime scene. They want to know that there's actually bodies there and that they look like they said, so that we can examine the wounds for ourselves and see it. But the judge has decided that he has to also weigh the impact it'll have on the families of the victims, and whether or not their need to be protected against the psychological damage that might fall out overweighs the public's right to know. So those kind of decisions are being made every step of the way. At what point is it we should unredact this because the public has a right to know versus is it protecting somebody and we have to balance their needs? So where I'm going with that is not to give you the answer why stuff has been redacted and isn't, but that's what they're using as a justification. Why stuff is still redacted is because the judge has to, on every single piece of unredaction, look at it again and decide, is it in the public's best interest and does it override somebody's need to be protected from something? And so he's got to make that decision. So that's what their excuse is on why we're still got things sealed, is because they have to look at every single thing, and the judge himself is going to make the determination whether to unredact that and let it be unredacted or not, based on whether or not the public need is greater than the need to hide it for some reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then,
so things that
they're not even listening. No, so one of the things with that too is Hitler he's made some decisions already on unredacting, and they're not even following his own order. So
yeah, and here's a ridiculous thing, by the way, just as an FYI. I hope that Lefkadio doesn't mind me saying this. When I'm requesting documents, here's an asinine thing. So they have a redaction, DM. Everyone in America knows that's Dylan Mortensen. Nobody has any question about Dylan Mortensen. Dylan Mortensen was on the stand crying and talking about how you ruined my life. Everybody knows who the person is, yet it's still technically redacted. I can't go after a public information's request and mention Dylan Mortensen because it's never been officially unredacted. So I can't mention her, even though everyone in fucking America knows who it is. We all know who it is. And we're not an idiot who DM is, but I still can't mention her by name because it's redacted officially, and they won't acknowledge that's Dylan Mortensen, even though we can see DM, who is in the house saying all the things we know Dylan said, but we still have to pretend somehow that, hey, look, that name's redacted. You don't know that's Dylan Mortensen. These are the games that we have to play when we're going after public records.
Well, maybe she said he ruined her life because he's a Fed who was part of that whole thing, and all of them ruined her life. But another thing that always makes me curious is everyone was going, oh, there's an unconscious person in the room, unconscious, and they're also kind of calm, but they're just not freaked out. And now they're saying, well, there was this huge pool of blood, and her fingers were nearly severed, and she was stabbed all the bit. So there had to be blood absolutely everywhere. So there's no way they would have walked up and checked her pulse with all that blood there. They would have come screaming out of the house. There's blood everywhere. Somebody's been killed, and that never happened. And then their friend Hunter goes calmly up the stairs with a knife in his hand, and the police are just trompa with, it's okay. You got a knife in your hand. We'll just follow you on up the stairs, and you show us where this unconscious person is.
Ridiculous.
It just makes absolutely no sense at all. And then we have no bodies shown. We have the forensics. We don't have any of the forensics other than one lady's word and some stuff on paper, but there's absolutely no proof that they're dead. We do have some urns that were shown on social media by Kaylee's mom. It's like, oh, we've got the urns, and they were very fancy glass urns, and they showed how beautiful they were, and we're supposed to just assume that their real ashes are in those urns. They look like nice faces to me. So it just makes no sense. None of it does.
Agreed. And yeah, if I have to actually hold my head together from exploding every single time you remind me that the cops come in and Hunter's walking around a quadruple homicide scene with a knife in his hand, and they're just like, oh, okay, hey, what happened here? But then
it makes me nuts.
Also at the university when he gave the speech about his best friend Hunter. I don't know if you've seen that. I think you probably have. I mean, he's just putting his friend down. He's talking himself up, and he's just totally trashing his friend about what a loser his friend was. And so like that was weird too.
It's almost, isn't it almost like they used Hunter as a real possible actor in part of this theater that whatever was going on, you know?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and it's hard because it's hard because when I listen to people like the body camera footage with Hunter and the cops and think the way he talks, I do have opinions. I have opinions about how he presents and whether that looks legitimate to me. And I tend to hold it to myself because of the whole phrase, everybody grieves differently. It's hard to say, but trust me, when I hear certain people talk in this case, I don't believe them. I think it sounds phony. I think it sounds fake. I think it sounds like they're trying to they're trying to sound scared and they're not. They're trying to sound shaken and they're not. That's what I hear, but I tend to avoid doing that because it's subjective. Somebody else will hear that same, just like when I said, I think I hear a scream of genuine terror on that footage that was released and people are like, you're an idiot. That's kids playing around and having fun. And I'm like, well, it's subjective. What am I supposed to do? Like I hear terror. You hear somebody getting tickled to death. Like
it could also be contrived. It could also be contrived as well. There are some things that don't really change from person to person, and that is when people see someone get murdered, someone get killed, a lot of blood. I mean, very few people, unless you are a sociopath or a psychopath, will come out of there calm, cool as a cucumber. I think somebody's just kind of out unconscious when there is that much blood and gore and people are stabbed.
And we didn't hear. And to your point, we didn't hear, any blood mentioned, remember, on the 911 call, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. But in the pictures they're showing now, which are super fuzzy and unclear, they're now coming out with it almost 3 years later. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming up for the questions. We're almost approaching 2 hours again. I do like to try to put a wrap on it at 2 hours. Here I started. We have nothing to talk about tonight, and freaking again, 2 hours into this thing, and hundreds of people watching, and we're just like, I had nothing to talk about. But thank you for coming on to our show. I'm going to go ahead and let you go for now, and we're going to say goodnight to our guests and wrap up the show. Thanks for the great questions and the great conversation you spurred for our guests tonight.
Thank you.
You bet. Have
Thanks
a great
for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, panelists. Do you guys want to? Once again, I cover. Oh, we got Twiz backstage again. I'm going to assume Twiz heard me say I'm wrapping up. I'll give him a shot because that must mean he has a parting question. Shit. God help us this doesn't launch into a 30 or 40 minute tirade, but we'll give Twiz a chance to come up because he's like, real quick before you go.
Okay, Saturday night. Give me a chance.
Actually, I didn't hear you say that.
Oh,
but if you are going to end, it must have been like right in the middle because YouTube's a little delayed, between me popping over. But if you're ending it, I can come back up some other time.
Yeah, I'd love to have you up. Yeah, I'm trying to keep these about 2 hours, and we're about 2 hours. So let's table that for another night. I'd love to have you back on again. So I'll go back to doing our monologue. And
I'll give a fun story about Pav though for SD.
Oh
boy.
Go. So this was like a year and a half ago, probably now. He made some video about Brian going to Moscow that night to pick up drugs, right? And I made a video, and I wasn't trying to be a dick to him, because I will be a dick to you if I want to be, right? But I was like, dude, Brian wasn't even in Moscow that night. And he made this big old video saying shit about me or whatever. And I was like, okay, whatever. But he had Brian drive by MPD twice in that response video. And I'm like, they don't have him on camera. And he drove by the police station twice. Like, are you joking?
They got DA on the camera though.
Yeah, I pulled into Moscow Police Department's parking lot and got out of my car and fixed my camera in front of their
That's funny. I haven't been to the police station.
It's super nice. It's super nice.
Well, it's brand new, so it better be.
Brand new.
They have a lot of money coming through there, so take that for what you will.
Oh, I will. All right. Thanks, Twiz. We'll have you on again. I appreciate it very much.
Have a good night, guys.
See you, Twiz.
Good night.
All right, panelists, last thoughts. Let's go around the horn. Robin, any last thoughts?
Just everyone hit the like button. I'm always the housekeeper of the Hit the like button, share the video, sub to the channel because there's all kinds of good stuff coming. So
I know
thanks
we
so
didn't
much for
talk
coming
about
out,
it.
everybody.
I know we didn't talk about it, Robin, but if you wouldn't mind throwing up our GoFundMe, we do have a GoFundMe for the legal pursuit,
Yes.
for the documents, the public records request, because
Absolutely
as you
will do
know,
that.
Jules was charged $900 for the documents that she got. So they're going to charge us too. And we've got a lot of requests in. So it's going to take some fighting to do that. One, what do you got for us from the closing thoughts?
Great show tonight. Great conversation. Hit the like button. Robin and I definitely will be here tomorrow night. We will talk about some Idaho 4, but as we have advertised a little bit earlier in the week, we are going to be covering, some stuff on Luigi. So
yeah, and
Yep.
I'm hoping to have Ali Benevento, a criminal defense attorney from South Carolina, come on and talk about the suppression hearings with Luigi when they close. She did tell me that she wanted to do that, so I'm pretty certain Ali and I, if I can get her pulled away from court TV, Ali is going to come on our show and talk to us about the her thoughts on the suppression hearings. Jason Estes from Estes Crime Maze, what do you got?
Well, just real quick, I'm going live tomorrow, 4 p.m., hopefully Eastern this time. The last 2 lives, it did not work out at all. I screwed up technically. I'm trying my best. And so I would love it if some people join me, hopefully thousands, if not hundreds, whatever I can get. And we're at about 717 subs, I think, as Lee keeps asking me, you're getting close to being monetized yet, right? Estes Crime Maze, we're getting there. Yeah. And thanks to DA and all of you for all your support in that journey. And obviously the goal is to get the 2,500 subs so we can appease Pavarotti, all that good stuff. So thank you for allowing me to be here tonight and converse with you amazing, beautiful faces and people and the audience. And I'm going to bed soon. And I hope you guys have a great night.
If it's what you want to do, Estes, stick with it. I've been told multiple times the first 1,000 subscribers is the hardest. I remember telling people several times it's impossible to get to 1,000 people. And here we are at 12,000 on the channel.
Yeah, you're kicking ass,
and I said it was impossible. So the first 1,000 is the hardest. It feels like a slog. It takes forever. It starts to build up momentum as you go. So stick with it.
I'd love to party with you guys and take you to Costa Rica with me when I get 1,000 subs, but I've lost my passport and health card right now. And the money situation, but let's start with me getting a new passport, and then I'll save up, hopefully.
I mean, if it's all a matter of money, I'd love to fly you all in a Lear jet to come hang out with me, but yeah, it's all that money issue.
Planned for CrimeCon, Esty. Planned for CrimeCon.
CrimeCon, yeah. Try to get the crime.
Yeah, there you go.
Why? What's in it for me?
We're gonna hang out. We're gonna hang out.
Oh, good, awesome. Okay.
Okay, Joe, State of the Deep. Last thoughts for the night?
Yes. Again, I think we should all keep our eyes peeled for when that additional footage comes out, if it ever does. Let's hope it does, because I believe that is one of the missing keys to this case. I think if that just that part alone is not what they said it was, that could add fuel to the fire for more questioning of the narrative. And I mean, they have to have video of them, unless they come out and tell us that, the camera was down between this time, or the footage got damaged, or we lost the footage, or whatever, which I wouldn't be surprised, because that piece is a major piece of this case, in my opinion. I think it'll answer a lot of questions. It'll speak to a lot of the theories, and it will also speak to whether an extraction operation took place. Because if there's no video of them returning home, well, then how much of the rest of the narrative can you trust if they never went home?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll leave you all with that. Thank you guys for a great show. Thank you to the Den. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, and as my
Right.
parting thought, I will say this. I have not forgotten about my other cases. I do plan on doing long-form videos on Luigi Mangione very soon, the Lisk case very soon. I will be having stuff come out. We will continue to talk about that. It's just at the moment, this kind of reinvigorated when the new Moscow Police Department documents or the videos were released. And so it's kind of the hot topic. But I do cover other things. Please check us out. Go to my website, devilsadvocates.info. I'm going to redesign a little bit of that front page to make it more useful for you. Lots of good stuff there as well. Robin, 1-1, Joe, Estes Crime Maze, who already went to bed because he's past his bedtime. Thank you all for coming tonight, and we will see you again tomorrow night. By the way, this crew, I don't know all of them, but this crew's going to go without me. I take Sunday nights off, so the boys are going to play. The boys and girls are going to play without me and run shit all over my channel. Just kidding. I trust them to do the right thing. So check them out tomorrow. I know they got some Luigi stuff coming up to talk about stuff about Terry stops, Terry frisks, some educational stuff. You're going to love it. So make sure you check out tomorrow's show. Everybody have a great night. See you next time when I'm here on Monday. Later.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.